All right, I'm here with Chanakya Yerneni. Chan, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. We were chatting a little bit before we hit record, and you got an interesting story. I'm excited to hear it. But before we dive into that, do you want to just give a brief introduction of yourself for people that may not know you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I lived in the US since I was 16, and I went to university there. I did my bachelor's in computer science. After that, I wanted to do something in entrepreneurship. So I went back to India, which was the home country at that time. I started a private school for underprivileged kids. So we grew that venture to almost 800 students, and we sold it or we merged it with a bigger social venture back in the day. After that, I was debating on what to do. I think I was 27 by then. And then I looked into different programs for masters. And I looked at a very interesting program in Canada called Masters in Technology Entrepreneurship. And that really caught my attention. So I moved to Canada to pursue that program. And then I ended up living in Canada, working in Canada, because as a new immigrant, you have to work to get your status and whatnot. So I had been living in Canada for 13 years now, and I'm a Canadian citizen. And just like everyone else, I'm sure you heard so many founders say this. I was so sick of corporate life by the end of 2023, and it was 10 years working in corporate world by then. And I originally thought I would work in the corporate world for a few years, but it ended up becoming 10 years. And I said, enough is enough. With the baby on the way, I said, I don't want to work anymore in the corporate world. And that's when I started looking at, how do I even purchase a company? How much money do I have? Do I get bank loans? Where do I go to purchase a company?
Yeah.
So obvious things people said were, well, you should probably look at a franchise. And I'm like, I don't want to work like that. That's just like, you are going to work for a large corporation, just basically use their branding and become like their extended employee if you're a franchise owner. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that. Sorry, did you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say I completely agree. I mean, it's a brick and mortar business.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than a SaaS business.
Yeah. And SaaS was, even though I worked in enterprise SaaS as a product manager, as a product marketing manager, I worked as a sales engineer. All those roles really equipped me to orient more towards SaaS. So that's when I think I was one of your earliest customers. I was browsing through Google and I came across, I think at that time it was called MicroAcquire, not even Acquire. So acquire.com, and I looked at the website. I started browsing through the startups religiously every day. So I did not have a job. I quit my job. Every morning at 8 a.m., I would sit in front of my computer, browse through all the listings and say, okay, this is good. And then I sign NDAs and go back and forth. This happened for a good 60 to 90 days. And I was like, I looked at one business that I want to purchase, but didn't end up going through the acquisition. And then I saw SAGrader listed on acquire.com. SAGrader is the name of our company, SAGrader AI. And based on my background as a teacher, entrepreneur, I was like, this works. I understand exactly the pain point SAGrader is solving for teachers. And we went and purchased it. All happened, I think, within a few days. And I think the assets were transitioned within a month. All of that, from the time I saw the opportunity listed on Acquire to me running the business, I think was 30 days in total. So,
nice.
Yeah.
So where's let's fast forward this a little bit and then we'll pull it back. So I got a ton of questions. This is extraordinary. Where's SAGrader today? Like you mentioned before we started recording, it was at a certain spot. Where is it today?
So for this fiscal year, we are just at about $500,000 ARR. And so, which means that for the remainder of the 6 months, which is actually the busiest time for us, because new school starts and teachers come back and start grading assignments and they're looking for a tool. So we are projecting just over $1 million in recurring revenue.
That is incredible. Good for you. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess my first question is, what made you decide this path? It's obviously different than a traditional entrepreneur where you think of an idea, you build a business. You got to find product market fit. You're probably, chewing on glass for a period of time. What made you say, I think buying a business would be a better path for me?
I think you really accelerate by a few years. So all the things that you just mentioned, like looking for an idea, finding that product market fit, talking to customers, pivoting the idea, right? All of that sometimes can take years before you find that product market fit and the idea that you want to build on. Whereas if you buy an existing business, through acquire.com, where a lot of indie developers come and list their businesses, and you see the traction, product market fit, you can sense it. That's when you just go and purchase the business, right? Like I can tell that if I went and started a business, I had some ideas. I had like a spreadsheet of ideas that I wanted to build. Each of those ideas, I can guarantee you that I probably would have burned through a lot of money building proof of concepts, so on and so forth, without any real revenue, and I wouldn't even know if there is product market fit. But whereas with the businesses, a lot of businesses listed on Acquire, they already come with a certain level of revenue, and you can go through their numbers, you can go through their marketing, like SEMrush or Ahrefs. If you have subscriptions to them, you can see how much traffic is coming to the site, what the conversion rates look like, and that gives. Yeah, you're spending money to buy the business, but it's guaranteed. If you know that you can grow the business, I think I would definitely recommend people to acquire an existing business than start something from scratch, because it takes forever to build something from scratch.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I mean, it's essentially like years of your time, and it's not guaranteed to work. Yeah. I see so many buyers thinking in the same way. I think it's really, really smart.
Yeah.
I have to assume, so man, you 10x the business essentially, right?
Yep. When we bought the business, we were doing like a few $1,000s a month, probably like 5,000 or something like that. But yeah, for sure.
That is incredible. What was the main growth unlock? Was it just hard work over a long period of time? Did you redesign the product? Did you see things with the product or the business before you acquired it? Like, that's extraordinary.
We redesigned the product quite a bit. I probably talked to 300-400 teachers in the past year as we started the business, teachers are our core group of users. Like that's who 90% of our users are. But we probably talked to 300-400 users, just myself. And that doesn't count like the other staff in the company. And we have some really awesome developers that are very customer friendly. They can have like full conversations. Customers love these developers. It's been just an incredible journey building with a group of people that I really believe in, and a group of people that I really enjoy working with no politics, no hierarchies. It's just like getting shit done.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Tell me this. So I have to assume you looked at a number of different businesses before you landed on this one. What were some like usual turnoffs that you didn't like to see? Was it valuation was too high? Was it messy financials? Was it, maybe the product needed more work than you were willing to put into it?
Yeah.
What did that look like?
Some of the business that I didn't go with, was that what you're asking for? So maybe
just like you're looking at other businesses. What made you pass on them?
Yeah. I think first the businesses have to be in a booming industry, right? Like, I knew we were at the forefront of innovation in EdTech. SAGrader, actually, funny enough, now 2 companies, Y Combinator just backed, that are doing very similar to what we are doing in the last 6 to 8 months. So that shows that we have like almost a year and a half head start compared to these companies, and that's a huge advantage. So all of that is to say that yes, you look for companies in booming, burgeoning industries. The companies that I did not go with, usually the listings weren't very comprehensive. They didn't have like full updated financials, or they were there and they weren't comprehensive. When I looked up their traction online, through third-party sites like Ahrefs, like I mentioned. I wouldn't really see a lot of traffic coming or so on and so forth. I was really looking for something that had product market fit, but also within my budget. I didn't have a lot of budget. Like I had just like a couple $100,000 that I could spend buying a business. And so especially with that price point, you see a lot of businesses that you have to walk past. I was definitely lucky in what I purchased. I did not think that we would grow this much, honestly. And we were just like being very persistent, like doing quality work every single day. And we made so many mistakes along the way. Like when I look back, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so horrified. We still do so many mistakes every single day. And I mean, Andrew, you probably would know this.
That's part of startups. Yeah. Let me ask you this. For someone maybe listening to this in a similar spot where, they have a job that they're not necessarily thrilled about, they're somewhat entrepreneurial, but maybe starting an idea isn't for them, and they don't know anything about acquisitions, literally nothing. They're looking at franchises, maybe similar to you.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, okay, I have $100,000. We use a budget like that. What would you say to them? Would you say, hey, you should look at businesses that are only profitable? You mentioned growing industries. What's like maybe two things, and I'm sure I'll have a couple questions after that.
Yeah. First, I would say if you're not thrilled with your job, that's already a sign that you wouldn't like telling you how to do your job. And you should definitely not look at franchises, because that's their whole model. They tell you how to do your job and they give you like very set of defined instructions. So don't look at franchises. That's one thing that I would say. If you don't, right? That's intuitive. That's my intuition speaking. Maybe there are some people that did not like their jobs and they did amazing with their franchises, but that's what my intuition tells me. So second thing, the two things that I would say, sorry, can you repeat your question? I kind of lost track.
Yeah, totally. Just someone in a similar spot, they're looking to get started in terms of looking for a potential business to acquire. Like, how should they think about that? Should they look at profitability first? Should they look at maybe products that they understand? Should they look at markets that excite them? Like, how did you narrow in on, a business that you felt was a good acquisition for you?
That's a great question. So I think it's too early to look for profitability at this size. If you only have $100,000, and I don't think you should be looking at profitability of the business you're purchasing. I think you should really look at the product market fit. You should really say, okay, can I grow this business to at least 3x, 4x, 5x, and just look at the competitive landscape. If you at least see one or two competitors in that space, that's actually a good sign, right? That means that people are looking for a product like this, and there is actual interest in the market for this. If you see a product that's like in a space where there are no competitors, I would say that's actually a red flag. Just really understand. Maybe you're one of those 0.001% businesses where no one thought about the idea and you're the first to market, and that's a golden opportunity. Go for it. But generally, if there are no competitors in the space, step back and just like analyze it a bit more. But like I said, I don't think people should look for profitability if you only have $100,000 to buy a business. I think people should look for the idea itself. At that point, you're really buying the idea, not so much the business.
So early traction, it's in a market where there's other competitors that have essentially verified that there's a need for the product service.
Yeah.
Anything on the like marketing side or sales side that you would look at? Like I've heard from other buyers where, they would look at businesses where marketing sales is really limited or weak. And I think at this size of a business, there could be none. Do you see that as a downside or an opportunity?
100%. I see that as a great opportunity. So I remember the listing that I came across, the actual person that sold the business to me, he was a engineer at a large company, and he took this business as far as he could. And he said that if he were to grow this business, he had to quit his job and that was a great sign for me that he fully believed in the business, which means I already quit my job. So it was a perfect fit. So I could take this and then I grow the business. And also I had the marketing background. Also, by the way, when I say marketing background, none of the marketing expertise that I had working at large scale enterprise B2B companies was useful to what I was doing with my company. Yes, I had the general marketing ideas and thoughts, but they were really not transferable to more B2C in the space that we are in. That was also a bit of a learning curve for me. But yeah, so to your question, if you find engineers, like technical people selling the project because they can't, marketing or sales is not their expertise, and if you have that expertise, absolutely, that's a fantastic fit. It was the case for me with SAGrader. And vice versa. If you're technical and someone is like sales and marketing, they really see the need for this product and they grow it, but they don't have the technical expertise, then go and buy the business, right? Or partner with them.
I love that. Yeah. So I think for someone listening, would you agree with this? Like, look for good products in big markets. Maybe sales and marketing isn't really built out yet. But there's something there. There's kind of like that initial spark, and that's what you're buying. You're buying, the brand of the business, the initial customer traction, a well built out product. And then your job from there is essentially, scaling the business rather than just, starting the business.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Nice. So you 10x'd the acquisition that you recently acquired. What was like the main growth levers in terms of customer acquisition? Was it turning on SEO? Was it running paid advertising? What did that look like?
Yeah. It was mostly building a good product. We would say that most of our growth came from product, and also there is a certain level of virality to our product where teachers use it and then they really like it and then they recommend it to other teachers. So or they give the assignments back to the student and they are so well structured with lots of feedback, and then the other teacher looks at the assignment and says, "This looks really good. How did you get this?" And then they would say, "Oh, I use a SAGrader," right? So product led. For us, it was mostly product led. We really built a beautiful product. Teachers love our product. And that's how we mostly grew. Of course, around December, we started investing into SEO. I had to learn what backlinks were. I had to learn what the whole like ranking on the very top for keywords is, differences between commercial keywords and like non-commercial keywords. Like I had to learn all of those things. And we have a fantastic SEO partner that we work with, and he has been amazing. We ranked number 1 in the category for all high intent keywords. We capture about 60% of the traffic that is on the web looking for AI grading specifically for essays.
Nice. So, what's the business model for SAGrader? Just a monthly subscription?
Monthly subscriptions or yearly subscriptions. We give like a nice 35% discount if it's a yearly subscription. But also as we were working so hard in building the product and so on and so forth, something totally unexpected happened. These teachers would actually go to their school administrators and say, "Can we buy this for the entire department?" Wow. Or the school? So now we have like almost pretty much, I think we have a school district that is using our product in 35 states in the US. So
wow.
Yeah. So
that's great. You're going to be at 50 probably pretty soon here.
Yeah, it is definitely hard because it's like we are such a small team. We are only like 6 people, and we are working hard to build this B2B motion, and that requires a little bit of different expertise and so on and so forth. So I'm putting on my B2B hat. Also, the sales cycles are slightly different than B2C, as you can imagine, but they are going to be very rewarding because we completed some of the school boards that use the product for 1 year, and we already renewed all of them because around this time last year, we did like a good 20 to 30 school boards that purchased it, and pretty much every single one of them has renewed their contracts, which shows that it's here to stay. It's not like, a tool that they just want to try and see what happens in year 1. And all the usage reports that we downloaded, teachers are using the product.
That's amazing. Right on. Let's rewind back to the acquisition. I have a few questions there. How did that process go? You mentioned it was fairly straightforward and quick.
Yeah.
How was due diligence? How was closing? Was there anything that was surprising or difficult?
No, everything was fairly straightforward. The platform was built seamlessly where you just, every step of the way was really handled in a logical way by acquire.com. Even like this was micro acquire. I'm talking about like a year and a half ago. Your platform was fairly robust in taking us from liking a business to closing the business. The only thing I would say that was I felt it was a bit odd was the escrow.com thing part where
Yeah.
so but other than that, like the whole transition, like the whole acquisition process was super awesome. And we were given an account manager. I don't remember her name now, but she was fantastic. She would like coordinate between me and this seller, and if I had any questions, so on and so forth. It was really good.
Amazing. I guess my final question is, if you had 3 pieces of advice you'd give to another person looking to go down this path, what do you think those 3 pieces of advice would be?
Create an account on acquire.com, look at acquire.com every day, and just follow some of the tips that I gave you earlier, which is, identify that spark in a business, see if you would be a good fit for that business, and see if you could scale the business. Also, you have to be passionate, right? You have to. When I looked at EdTech, when I looked at this business, the business spoke to me. There were other businesses that were very similar to this, but they were in very heavy technical, areas where they were talking about very niche things like SEO, like technical aspects of SEO, and so it was bringing all the SEO people to the business. But for me, that business did not speak to me. But as an educator, former educator, this business spoke to me, and that's also something important for you.
Amazing. Amazing. Chan, what's next for you? Getting to 2 million in revenue, 10 million?
We want to get to, our goal is to get to 2 million in the next 2 years, and then we'll see what happens. We'll come back knocking on acquire.com.
Right on. Well, love hearing your story. I'm excited to continue following it. If people want to learn more about you or SA Grader, where can they find you online?
sagrader.ai. My email is listed on the site. Just go and send me a quick note, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Chanakya Yerneni.
Right on. Well, Chan, congrats again on the acquisition. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you.